Seru, so we have asked for them to have the cake set up again on Saturday, just so to emphasize a little bit on the 38 years of marriage, which means we will zero into marriage life. And we can also cut the cake together. So we would like to say thank you for taking the time to join us. And I'm talking to everybody and anybody. This morning the sun was up a fair bit early, and we were down at the seawall with the family and the grandchildren and hot. And so it's been a blessing. Like what I said, most Saturdays for us, it's a lazy Saturday that you can say to yourself, I'm not determined to start work at 8 o'clock. You're free to do with whatever that you want to do with your time. And we are all different. Some of us, it's a lazy Saturday. And some of us, it's like, okay, this is the only day that I need to do a lot of things, which means it can start as early as 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock for you to be able to achieve it. So whichever, the feeling for the Saturday for you, or maybe some of you have got sports to attend to, or just take your family to go and do marketing and shopping, a good family time out. Or some of you still maybe are listening to us and you haven't reached home. You went, attend a party, or you go dancing, club crawling, or grogging, and you're still on your way home. Well, all the best, and faithfully reached today. So we say welcome to all of you.
Wambula tukani na matakani kuwa na non the family table talk weekend na tukuna we korwa kabiti. Sana tini kabani non the wanua na tiku tumaina asa sawara atu ya sawa mambalabu na sana batura mamba kena bimbarabi kena be uli wanua sana batura ra na kena bimbarabi tiku ngamai rogo boaka me atu sarayani gina wanua le wayangara en koro rambulu sa bakambula tukani na mataka ni singa nindai nano nga kina bosa ni mula binaka seru batake na mosi taileu rewa batake na tasiri do mula binaka mula malaka ida kaundraw wimbo ke madwata na singa binaka ni kuwa sini mula dabi wang mula taltungay na long may biti raramba kena biyanyano may kandabu sa bakang mula tugani na singa binaka ni kuwa sini mula dabi mo wang mula tugani na bikorokoro gitu as komentukan nama do saoti au klani lewi kemenindo sarabatu mai na program go family table talk talano session batakina youth stand out so na program ni sakya ni sa kilabi na kasaratunga sa baka binaka takitugan ni simina ni kuwa kimdo mai ngele mumu do bulu binaka na wale mo kimdo na lili busa lili matagali waro takimai na bingarabi lili busa kabatala ni bikemuni na turang na marama kenda tukani na hall saba kan bulat tukani menanggai bula binaka turani yabusa au klani bisben ortoni tal lebih masulaki saba kan bulat tukani ene siga binani basin ule nabi mem bulelaka na boleh buna lili matagali eba batakena lili yabusa sa
bula binaka
kan bulat tukani bina boleh bu nandola tuna koro kena na non talai sote tukani tol lombongi au klani waka toka na wakarara mataki na maru taki ni takos na kalukin non tambula ena siguna sakale na baka buku kerau ena buku ni matabubale ena buku ni New Methodist Christian Fellowship sa baka binina taki tuani be kemni tale na be SIVT ni baro tumai se kemni sa baro tumai na be sai buru so una lagabang gito lagabadaka lagabang ande se kemni sa lo ni bono tunde tu na bono kemni ngolikina sa baka bulat tuani simina ni kuwa bikam do mai Iraki ena bono lebo Baghdad pinabali mo daw tunin tumay karo sa tamatake doon turangan na sila noa doon ni barit ka tiko ko na munin daw sa matikomay and program ni Mike Television na we tala na so na we interview so na sa ni kalo so sa torto na uno binango mo pinabina ka tugan sa matikomay and si unan ni ko kimto tala may gola nights kamakatala kinabi kim daw tikomay ichipita na we indalan no kumay senay sa bakang bulat tugani we kenda tikomay Israeli Taipei sa dalago tubaga nakadaka na buko ni United Nations sa kali mo na baka binaka ena nung daw siya matumay sino labi bigam ni daw gito tu may Romania makatala nga may Spain may France may England sa baka bulat tugani
ena milika
kim do na bitamani rawanga and family sa baka bulat tugani ena siga binaka ni kwa kenda baro tu mo libo Londoni ni bulat binaka may Wales Scotland Northern Ireland ni bulat binaka en matakan ni singa ninda sa kalibu na mga binaka non da family table talk yung matakan ni kuha kenda na vital no taksar tu nga na bibi ni mata bubale me ka ni reto na cake na keke sa pari ta ko tio aran din ka salim na sigbi na ko na katol sa kawali niya baki ne romaro taka na bula bawati mane matay ni singa ni bula November and tini ka diwa walu sanga bula ka ni ko sa may 2022 sa baka bili na ta nga ko na do bimuli na kaluma ka taki ko ya na do sema ta tu na bula na kana tangi urukil to ni na kana visanga tani bi mbuli eso na baka bili na ka ko na turangan si winani ko na bi maro
Yeah, we thought of talking about marriage life today. Not only that, we have a throne room that we receive callers when we have the Miracles to Happen. We call the program Miracles to Happen. It's a TV live program where we get pastors to be praying over.
Yeah.
And even then, sometimes after the program, the call continue to come. And we have rostered people that actually, come in from 7 o'clock in the morning just to answer this call on the 3 landline and the 2 mobile or cell, and one Voda. And from the findings and the analysis, there's quite an increase on marriage problems. And I believe it's always there, but now when they know that there is a forum that they can call for help and prayers, and these are the ones we know because they've taken the time to call in and ask for prayers. But there may be some, they're not calling anybody. They're just trying to fix it on your own. And you may be one of the ones listening to us this morning as well. And marriage, from what it was like in our days, 1984, I could say, 38 years ago, the meaning of marriage is totally different to what it can, what it has become now.
Yeah.
And the marriage from my parents' days is totally different from when we got married, on how they value married life. And the do's and don'ts that you don't even talk about, but it just, it comes naturally. And when it comes our time, like nearly 4 decades ago, it was different. And now it's totally different because of the, how we evolve from one limit to another and another life to another life. And not only that, in the contributing factors around us. The change is there. Not only in Fiji, it happens everywhere. And you can also be testament to this for those of you that are listening outside Fiji. We can anito kin da bakarong to when we were notan na nondambulo vakawati na kena duin menang na rawati kin na no ditubutubu at may weekenda gostando tensar na velho ni va mawiliu se va watiliu. When somebody commits adultery, it's like a big thing. It's like the unforgiven sin, it's hard to forgive that because of the closest, like one-off kind of thing. Yeah? But now it's like normal. Some get married today, or by next week they are already out there doing their own business, and some still today they have their family, they have their children, but they still have their mistresses or their lasai tumba all over the place. And then there's no issues. It's like normal. It becomes normal. The society has made it normal because not only one is doing it, like nearly every second person or third, for that matter, have the tendency to do that. And the environment in the workplace and also in family, community, and even in the church has sort of toned down to a more casual atmosphere that has made this kind of relationship or kind of attitude survive or manifest, to be what it is. And it's not something that we can fix, I believe, but it's, it depends on the individual. Like for us, for our marriage to work, it's not for the church or for our family, it's us. It's the choices I made, or the thinking and the attitude of my life, and it's also the choices of his life. So your marriage, there may be contributing factors that come in from the family, or come in from workplaces, or maybe some of you, your husband or your wife, it's outside Fiji or living overseas while you're here. It can be the separation, it can be the distance. There can be a lot of contributing factors, but it depends on the individual. When you trust and this is the package you have for your marriage, and you love your family, um, there are certain things that regardless of what you go through, you will never, give up that because you value your family. And that value is not only by word or to be mentioned to say, oh, okay, that's my husband, oh, that's my wife, oh, that's my family. So it's not only a word and a descriptive, word, but it becomes, a verb, like a dua, like you own it, which means that you are willing and ready because you love your family or you love your spouse. You're willing and ready to, to stand up and fight for it and see and check that it works. And I believe, when we are talking about marriage this morning, it's quite common in a lot of families that they may be living just inconvenience because the children are there, but it's love lost. There's no more love in between, and some of us, like we're reaching, like what I said, we 38 years, 2 years, for us to reach 4 decades of our life, of our marriage life. And some of you are just so new and so young in your marriage life, maybe 2, 3 years, but you're already going your separate ways because the resilience that we used to have before is no longer now. The patience it takes for you to sustain your marriage. And the attack to the marriage, because we believe we are also Christians and we serve God. And we believe every marriage is ordained by God and God allow every marriage. So it's not a fluke or it's not, just a coincidence. No, it's something that we believe that God bless you or create that marriage to work. And when you have it, you look after it. You will value each other. And the devil or the circumstances around you will always try to attack. It can be through your workplace. It can be the friends that you keep. It can be the secret things that you keep. So at one point, we were sharing about the oneness in marriage, which means like when I come in, I come from a totally different setup. My life is so private. I don't go to my auntie's place, or nor do I know them. And I know them by name because most of them are in the village. And I know my uncle, but I was not brought up in a normal Itoke upbringing that you can run to your uncle, you can call Nalilai or call Nay and Momo. Mine was totally different, very private. It was always my Na and my Ta. It was always our family. And we may have visitors that come in every now and then, but it was very close-knit, just us. And I got married to a family. Like for him, when he comes from a big family, and he, extended family. He lives with his extended family, and he comes from a sibling of 12. And our life totally, it's totally different. But to make that work, I will need to, give up some things of my life, and he has to give up some things of his life to try and make it work for us to come in agreement. Okay, this is the way to go. I really don't like the way you do these things. And he will tell me, I really don't like the way you always talk this way. Vocalize our differences so we can work towards, come in agreement on something that we can agree to make our marriage work. Because if we don't, then I will always stand with what I feel and I know it's right because it's the way that I was brought up, as well as him. And if we stand on what we believe in and how we have been brought up, I believe you wouldn't be here today, sitting, talking to you 38 years after being married. It's a give and take. And that is for most marriage that are listening in today. So we can dalak may na matapupalin. Dito sa no di sususo. Wana na kami mawat kina bakan renre. Menda vingoma se menda bitele visona ka e mata weekenda. And then ronyi katuba to kivale, beimba to kivale. Ronyi same thing you're talking about, same thing you're having your fights over. But yet, we don't take the time to say, okay, we've been fighting over these things and talking about this same thing nearly all the time. And like 10 years ago, we yet the realization for you to say, okay, if we are fighting and continue to have differences over this one issue or few issues, maybe it's time for me to relook. And, one of you need to give in to make that marriage work. Yeah, I want to kick it off with that. Huh?
Yeah, I believe our parents, now our time, we base our marriage on love. When we talk about love, love, closeness, fellowship, give and take, forgiveness. We base our coming together that we love one another. But I believe nowadays the the attraction is
Yeah.
more physical,
Yeah.
promotion, identity, sex,
Status.
look. Yeah, it's based on something that can change.
Yeah.
No, it changes. Maybe something of the outside. eh. Like for us, when we got married, 1st of November, 1984, it based on love. That means trust, forgiveness. It takes two good forgivers to go through the hills and the mountains of challenges of marriage. And also the give and take, the confessing and be transparent to one another. And nowadays, the patient is no longer there, the right, individual right comes in. While we supposed to be based on godly values that last forever, and the marriage too will last forever. But if we base it on something that changes, then when thing changes, our marriage too
Shaken, eh? Yeah.
is changed.
Yeah.
Because we base it on the thing that changes.
Yeah.
But if we base it on God, which does not change, I believe that's why marriage survive. Because any marriage, whether good or bad, church or non-church, Fiji or overseas, we will face through the same thing. Same thing from our workplace, our friends, our relatives, our neighbors. The same thing that attack marriages, regardless where, when, how. It's the same thing that attack all marriages. Now, it depends on the man
yeah.
and the woman, how to handle those barriers or those attacks that want to separate the oneness that you are talking about. And it's very important. It's very, very important because today I was talking to one master that's in Holy Trinity, way, way back, and saying before, maybe only a small percentage of children in the class will come from broken family. But 3-4 years ago, when we were talking, he said, but today it's normal that more than 5-6 students in a class, that comes from broken marriage. Now, then we look back to marriage life, and nowadays people because of the right that we have.
Yeah.
No?
And I believe, like before, like what I said, the resilience was more. Like, say, if you do something, I'll say, okay, I forgive you, like it's always there. But now it's like, okay, as soon as you do that, like the patience.
Yeah.
And because love is patient, which means that we are not 100%.
Yeah.
We tend to
No.
make mistakes. We are not trying to, justify the fact that errors were made or mistakes were done. And as and when, like before, like what I said, we can hold on, whatever it is, no matter how bad it is. Your husband can have his affairs, or woman can have their affair, but there's always like a tendency to forgive and to try and move on because you have the children there, right there. But now we see, like if it doesn't work, even if you have a slight differences, it's like, okay, to hell with a lot of things. I'm going to go this way. I'm not going to be sitting here and allowing you to walk over my life. And like the patience now is no longer there, which creates a lot of broken marriages. And it's sad because most of these couples, they love each other. They love each other. And they came together in the first place because of their love. And one small thing that happened, because they cannot forgive, they're willing to let go. So they go their separate ways and they go and try and find partners, but indirectly, like in their heart, they had something special for each other. But because of that unforgiveness, or because of,
Impatient.
yeah, and feeling betrayed, I think that's the correct word. When you really, really love somebody and you trust that person, And when they do otherwise, and like you talk about everything, you say anything, like you can, I mean, you can be yourself with your partner. That's so normal. I mean, we've been married for the last 38 years. And there's a lot of things that nobody else knows about you, but your husband or your wife knows about you. That's how close marriage can be. And when one of you does otherwise, look at another woman or start texting that woman, or that woman looking at another man, or having a relationship or having coffee, and without telling the husband, like you begin to, hide those secrets from each other. And when that happens, when you come back home, or when when you find out, you will try to make it work, regardless, because you see the faces of your children. But now it's like you couldn't care less about it, and you can leave because out of anger, you can just leave your husband or your wife with the children, and you just walk away. And like what we mentioned from the beginning, we have this Miracles to Happen program live on TV. And we also have callers calling in the throne room on these available lines that is usually crawl under the screen. And there is a lot. And before, majority of these callers used to be women in gender. And now it's surprising, men are as big, the number is as big as women. Which means not only before we used to feel the same thing that is done by men. They seem to be the only one having affairs. And even the society has made it that way, that even men, if they commit affairs, it's nothing, Like, the emphasis is not really there. But when a woman does, it's like, you feel condemned, feel intimidated. It's like you're being looked down on. And so when that was happening, now, with the callers coming in, men are calling in for their marriage, are calling in because the women are leaving home, the wives are leaving home. And not just leaving home, going to their parents, they're leaving home to go to another man and starting new families. So I would say it's quite worrying because of the rate it has gone to. And with our, analyzed figures, we have one of our senior pastors, his name is Osea Rasea. When he does his analysis, and he does it every week, it's amazing. The highest is always on family, with marriage as one of them. So as you're listening today, like what we mentioned initially, I don't know how hot your marriage is, how many years you've been married, and the trust within or between you two, or the mistakes made. And, when you come in, you really love each other. You dote on each other. You do anything for each other. And then as you go by, because you already, in your heart, this is my husband, or this is my wife. And you go your way, go to work. So you are surrounded by people in your workplace, or even the community, or even in the church. There always a lot of assumption that the church is safe. We actually lead in a ministry. And I'm always emphasizing to our leaders and speaking to New Methodists as a whole, the church is not here to save your marriage. And when you come to church, it's not going to save your marriage. It's you individually that you need to have a relationship with God and work on your marriage. It doesn't mean you're going to church, your marriage is safe. No. When you're going to church, you're serving God, and your life that you live is going to save your marriage. And don't come to church to hide. You come to church to learn and see how you can take back those teachings to help with your marriage. And that's one, a few things that we've been sharing since this program started. Our relationship at home, the things you can help at home for men, women, the duties at home, the responsibility, all those things, they are contributing factor to make your marriage work. Because lack of each, or lack of the contribution, or lack of help, it creates that break within you that you don't want to say anything, but it's sort of like really hard on your heart. Indirectly, you're trying to say, okay, I'm married to this man, or I'm married to this woman, and they don't seem to help or do anything to help me with this family that we've created together. And somehow in your heart, even though you're staying together, it's like you're living on your own. Because the responsibility, accountability, anything and everything about your family, it's only and always you. And even though you're staying together as husband and wife, but they become just a number, and they become just one of the members of the family. But the responsibility, the thinking, the planning, the taking ownership becomes solo. And when we are not careful, those things can be contributing factor to separate ways for marriage. Because one day, if you're not going to church or feeling accountable, one day you'll wake up and you say to yourself, what, do I really need him? Do I really need him, or do I really need her? Like, I've been living my life without her or without him. Like, they may be staying with me, but they're not doing anything to help with my family. So you begin to entertain those thoughts that you can live without them, because they're there but not there. You know, so those are things that we don't want to talk about, but I want to bring it up to the table today. It's a family table talk to talk about it, because you can be there, but it's good after this session, marriage life or couples, maybe you should take this moment just to review your contribution to your marriage. What are the things you help out at home with? I'm a woman. And like what I said, we've been married for 38 years. And I'm not only a mother, I am a grandmother. I have 7 grandchildren. And I'm not only a mom, or a grandmom, or nana, but I also work, which means that I need to organize my life to go to work every day. And not only I work, but I also have a church to go to. And not just a church just to go and attend a service on Sunday, but I have a church to organize its administration and also help in organizing what needs to be organized. So with all those things around my life, I still need to make my family work. I have to find time in every moment. I can be with my youngest grandchild and be a nana, and be a nana to my eldest grandchild, who is 17 years old, and also be the mother-in-law to my daughter-in-law and my son-in-law, or to be the mom or to my son or to my daughter, and to be the wife to my husband. So with all those roles that I play, I will need to be mindful of the fact that at the end of the day, I need my family together. At the end of the day, I need this church organized. At the end of the day, the company that I work for needs to have certain things to be achieved by the end of that week or by that particular day. So why I'm sharing this with you, you have your life. You have things that are there that you cannot run away from, responsibility and accountability. And for me, a little help often, even in the office, when somebody come up and take away a little portion of my work, boy, my heart is so grateful. And I have a daughter-in-law because I only have one son. She looks after our dinner. She cooks our dinner. Whatever is lacking, she goes out of her way to do that. And when we come home, the dinner is ready. And that help, I am grateful. And my grandchildren, they are allocated duties. We do a roster. So every morning they do their duties. 5 o'clock they're up before they go to school. And on Saturday, it's like a thorough cleanup. Whatever roster you've been rostered, the duty that you've been rostered to do, today is thorough. So this morning when we left home, it's a sound of vacuum cleaner, a sound of, like all those spring cleaning that happens every Saturday when it's your duty. And for me, I am really blessed. When I see that and I feel that, it makes me have space and enjoy my family. Because the responsibility and the chores that I used to lug on my own, that can be so depressing at times and very burdened with everything else, that sort of like take away the joy of my life in enjoying my family and enjoying my marriage and enjoying the person that I am. And I want to share this because you can be a couple listening to us today that you may not know that that's what your wife is going through. You may not know that's what your husband is going through. Or for us working moms and our husband stays at home. Like you just up and go, come back and say, can you cook that and that? Can you just clean? Can you just look after baby? And you come in the afternoon like, with no acknowledgement. On a whole day, your husband stayed home to be able to keep things together and keep your family together while you can go and work without worrying about anything that is happening at home. So those are the contributing things for us, I believe, that can make a marriage work. It's not just marriage by name or you're being married to. And marriage, when you come in on the first day, is totally different because you have no other responsibility, nobody else there. You have eyes for each other. You have all the time dedicated for each other. But when children begins to come and family and responsibility begins to pop into a marriage, then that becomes a change. And some of us, we haven't accepted that change, and that is why some marriages are not working. Women, very easy to change because it becomes your responsibility.